Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins found themselves at a critical crossroads last offseason when defensive tackle Christian Wilkins, a cornerstone of their defensive line, opted to test free agency. His departure to the Las Vegas Raiders on a 4-year, $110 million deal left a noticeable void in the heart of Miami's defense. Wilkins had not only been productive, but was also a vocal leader and energizer for the unit. Understandably, Dolphins fans were gutted, wondering who would step up in the absence of such a dominant presence. But while most eyes focused on what was lost, those truly watching closely saw that the team already had a reliable and emerging force on their roster. Someone ready to seize the opportunity and thrive in the spotlight. Zach Sieler, a player who had been grinding quietly in the trenches, was about to be pushed into the forefront. And he didn't just survive the spotlight, he owned it. Zach Sieler's journey to this moment has been anything but glamorous. Drafted in the 7th round in 2018 by the Baltimore Ravens, he was waived after just a year before being scooped up by Miami. At the time, he was largely viewed as a depth piece, a rotational guy, a plug-and-play backup. But over time, Sieler earned his keep through relentless effort, sheer strength, and a motor that never stopped running. By 2023, Miami had seen enough to believe in his long-term value, locking him in with a 3-year, $68.65 million extension. Even then, most of the national media glossed over the move, choosing instead to focus on flashier names. But inside Dolphins headquarters, there was a growing belief that Sieler was more than just a supporting player. He was a foundation. When the 2024 season rolled around and Wilkins was no longer lining up beside him, the pressure on Sieler increased tenfold. Without his former teammate drawing double teams and commanding attention, opposing offenses zeroed in on Sieler. Many wondered if his production from the previous year, a career-high 10 sacks, would hold up under the new circumstances. And incredibly, not only did it hold up, it duplicated itself. Sieler once again delivered 10 sacks, but this time with significantly fewer opportunities. He dropped from 573 pass rush snaps in 2023 to just 421 in 2024, a difference of 102 snaps. That efficiency speaks volumes about his technique, strength, and football IQ. He wasn't just eating up space, he was producing at a high level. Despite all this, Sieler's name continued to fly under the radar nationally, until now. Pro Football Focus, a respected outlet in the analytics space, finally gave him the recognition he deserves. Naming him the most underrated player on the Dolphins, they highlighted his pass rush grade of 71.5 and an overall PFF grade of 78.9, the second highest of his career. PFF's Jonathan Macri made sure to note that Sieler ranked tied for 11th among interior linemen across the league in overall grade. That's no small feat in a position group loaded with pro bowlers and old pros. And while they erroneously cited him as having 13 sacks, the correct number, 10, still places him among elite company, especially considering the context of his usage. Context is everything in football. Stats alone don't tell the full story. It's about how and when those stats are achieved. Sieler's 10 sacks in 2023 came while he had Wilkins drawing attention beside him. In 2024, without that safety net, the expectation might have been a drop in production. Instead, Sieler stepped up, handled increased attention from opposing offensive lines, and still delivered. That level of consistency, especially at a physically grueling position like defensive tackle, is rare. It's even rarer when you consider how efficient he was with fewer reps. Miami's defensive coaching staff surely recognized this, but the broader football world needed a nudge. PFF gave them that. What makes Sieler's rise even more impressive is the intangible factor, his mentality. He doesn't seek the spotlight, he doesn't chase headlines. What he does chase is quarterbacks, and he does it with an old school grit that resonates deeply with fans. Dolphin supporters have grown to love him, not just for what he does on Sundays, but for how he carries himself the rest of the week. He's a lunch pail guy in a league that increasingly celebrates flash. That kind of player often gets overlooked. But when the wins start piling up, it's guys like Sela who make the difference. He embodies the next man up philosophy. Better than anyone else on Miami's roster. Sela's story is also a testament to Miami's front office and coaching staff. They saw what others didn't, a raw, hard-working talent that could be molded into a core piece of the defense. While splashier names were added through free agency and the draft, Sela developed quietly within the system. And when the opportunity came, he delivered not once, but twice, maintaining double-digit sacks from the interior in back-to-back seasons is exceedingly rare. It places him in the conversation with some of the league's best. Yet, because he's not on the highlight reel every week, that conversation hasn't reached the volume it should. But it's getting there, one dominant snap at a time. With the 2025 season on the horizon, expectations for Sela are higher than ever. He's no longer the understudy. He's the guy now. And the Dolphins are counting on him to anchor a defense that continues to evolve. If Miami's pass rush remains a strength this season, don't be surprised if it's Sela leading the charge. Again, he's earned that responsibility, and based on what we've seen over the last 2 years, there's every reason to believe he'll meet, and perhaps even exceed, the challenge. He's stronger, smarter, and more confident in his role than ever before. The national spotlight may finally be catching up, but Sela has been here, grinding all along. It's time for fans across the league to take note. While flashy edge rushers and athletic freaks often dominate the headlines, players like Zach Sela are the backbone of successful defenses. They do the dirty work, they set the tone, and in Miami they lead by example. The Dolphins may have lost a star in Wilkins, but they retained and developed a leader in Sela. He's not just filling shoes, he's blazing his own path. And if he continues at this pace, the word underrated won't apply much longer. Because the league is finally starting to understand what Dolphins fans have known for years. Zach Sela is the real deal. Still with us? Then show some love. Hey, hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? In a move that's shaken the entire NFL landscape, superstar tight end Travis Kelce is signed with the Miami Dolphins, sending shockwaves through fans, analysts, and teams alike. Yes, you heard that right. Kelce is heading to South Beach, and he's not just bringing his talent. He's bringing the swagger, the experience, and a bold promise to light up Miami with a show unlike anything we've seen before. After over a decade of dominance with the Kansas City Chiefs, where he became Patrick Mahomes' most trusted weapon and one of the greatest tight ends in football history, Kelce has decided it's time for a new chapter. And what better place than the electric sun-soaked city of Miami? The Dolphins, already on the rise with a fast-paced offense and explosive playmakers, now add a future Hall of Famer into the mix. This isn't just a signing, it's a statement. Miami is all in. Let's be real. When Kelce speaks, the league listens. And he didn't mince words at his Dolphins press conference. With that signature grin, he said, "I came here to win, and I came here to entertain." Miami, get ready. We're about to turn this into a show. That's the kind of energy that turns playoff hopefuls into Super Bowl contenders. Imagine Tua Tagovailoa launching a pass down the seam, and there's Kelce, hands like magnets, dancing into the end zone. We've seen it in red and white for years. Now it's going to be in aqua and orange. Kelce brings not only elite skill, but unmatched football IQ and veteran leadership. For younger Dolphins like Jalen Waddle and even Tyreek Hill, who's now reunited with his former Chiefs teammate, this is huge. They know what Kelce brings to a locker room. He's more than a tight end. He's a culture changer. Now let's talk football mechanics. The Dolphins already had a top 10 offense last year. With Mike McDaniel's creative schemes and Tua's improved decision-making, Miami became one of the most dangerous offenses in the AFC. But if there was one piece missing, it was a tight end who could dominate the middle of the field and open up the outside lanes. Enter Travis Kelce. He's a matchup nightmare. Too fast for linebackers, too strong for defensive backs. His route running is practically art, and his ability to find the soft spots in coverage will give McDaniel endless ways to exploit defenses. This isn't just about star power, it's about fit. And in Miami's dynamic system, Kelce is going to eat. Defenses that already had to worry about Tyreek's speed and Waddle's agility now have to account for a 6'5" monster roaming the middle. Good luck with that. Off the field, the Miami fit makes even more sense. Kelce is a brand in himself, a media darling, podcast host, and one half of the NFL's most famous football family. The Miami market opens up new opportunities for him to expand his presence beyond the field. Don't be surprised if you see Kelce popping up courtside at Heat games, hosting events in South Beach, or collaborating with local artists and influencers. The man knows how to own a spotlight, and in a city like Miami, the spotlight never dims. It's a perfect match. The NFL's biggest personality meets one of its most vibrant cities. The Dolphins get a boost in marketing, ticket sales, and primetime. Attention! And fans, they get front row seats to the Kelce show. This isn't just a football move. It's a cultural event. Of course, the big question now is, what does this mean for the AFC? With the Chiefs losing their cornerstone tight end, the power balance is shifting. Miami was already nipping at the heels of the conference's elite. Now, they've got a legitimate shot to leapfrog into that top tier. Buffalo, Cincinnati, Baltimore, they all have to take a long, hard look at their defensive schemes. Because when you add a player like Kelce, everything changes. He brings playoff experience, Super Bowl rings, and that killer instinct that separates good teams from great ones. For a young Miami squad still learning how to close out big games, having Kelce in the huddle could be the missing ingredient. This isn't just about highlights and headlines. It's about leadership, legacy, and lifting Lombardis. Let's not forget the emotional angle here. Kelce spent his entire career in Kansas City. He built a dynasty, formed an iconic duo with Mahomes, and gave everything to that city. Walking away wasn't easy, but like all greats, Kelce knew when it was time. He didn't want to fade quietly into the background. He wanted a new challenge, a fresh environment, and a team hungry to make history. Miami offers that, and more. He joins a roster stacked with talent, a front office willing to spend, and a coaching staff ready to innovate. Most importantly, he joins a fan base that's been starving for glory. The Dolphins haven't hoisted a Lombardi since the 70s. Kelce didn't just come to play, he came to win big, and win now. Reuniting with Tyreek Hill adds another layer to this story. These two terrorized defenses together in Kansas City, and their chemistry was off the charts. You think that's gone? Not a chance. If anything, they're more dangerous now. Defenders will have nightmares trying to decide who to double. They, blur of Hill, the precision of Waddle, or the brute force of Kelce. It's like trying to hold back a tidal wave with your bare hands. This trio could redefine what an elite offense looks like, and don't underestimate what this does for Tua. With a safety net like Kelce, Tua's confidence and efficiency could skyrocket. This move could be career-defining for him. He has the weapons. He has the coach. Now he has a Hall of Fame caliber tight end backing him up. That changes everything. The Dolphins locker room is already buzzing. Players are tweeting, fans are flooding social media, and the entire city is holding its breath in anticipation. Training camp is gonna feel like a festival. The vibe around the Dolphins is different now. It's louder, bolder, and more electric. And that's exactly what Kelce promised. A show. But don't get it twisted. This isn't just smoke and mirrors. Kelce's work ethic is legendary. He's already in Miami working with teammates, studying the playbook, and diving into McDaniel's complex schemes. He didn't come here to coast. He came to chase another ring. And with the roster Miami has built, the path is wide open. The AFC should be on alert. Something big is brewing in South Florida. This move could go down as one of the boldest and smartest free agent decisions in recent NFL history. Travis Kelce chose legacy over comfort. He could have retired a Chief, ridden into the sunset with his rings and accolades. Instead, he picked a team on the cusp, rolled the dice, and bet on himself. That's the mark of a true competitor. And if Kelce can bring that same fire to Miami, if he can elevate this already talented roster and guide them deep into the playoffs, he'll not only cement his GOAT status at tight end, he'll become a Miami legend. Just imagine the scene. Confetti falling, Kelce dancing on the podium, Lombardi in hand, and the whole city of Miami roaring. It might sound like a dream today, but with Kelce in town, dreams like that suddenly feel a whole lot more real. So here we are on the edge of something special. The Dolphins have made their move, and the NFL world is watching. Travis Kelce in Miami. It's more than just a headline. It's the beginning of a brand new saga. A chapter filled with swagger, spectacle, and just maybe Super Bowl glory. One thing's for sure, Sundays in Miami just got a whole lot more exciting. Buckle up, Dolphins fans. The show is about to begin. And with Travis Kelce leading the charge, you better believe it's going to be unforgettable. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.